Okay, welcome everybody. Conquer 2015. This is a production business planning training product that we put together. And we're recording this session so you could listen to it again. I want you to focus and have a note next to you, a notebook with a pen ready, because you're going to make a lot of notes. In addition, I'm going to give you some homework to do. And the homework is really going to be the punchline of this specific webinar. It's going to take me maybe about an hour and a half to go over all this material. I'm going to try to do it sooner and quicker than that, but I can promise. So you need to put aside your cell phones. I suggest you are not going at this moment in time to listen to anything else other than the webinar, because you need to engage here and understand exactly why this business planning will give you the benefits over what someone else is not doing. If you have this material and you're taking action to execute this material, you will be able to have a more of a prosperous year where you can really understand where you're going. It's putting together a path for you, a specific path that you're going to walk through. This is now you're planning what you will do in 2015, action steps, activities, and all the rest, okay? Scheduling yourself, knowing exactly how many contacts you need, how many listing presentations, what to focus on, how to bring yourself to the next level, how to improve in skills. All these different things need to be taking place, and that's exactly what we're going to go over here. All right, so let's begin. Number one, you need to know what it is. We'll talk about what it is means, but you need to know what it is that you're going after. You need to understand what it is you're going after. You need to know what it is you're going after, and you need to go after it. So number one is know what it is that you're going after. Number two, you need to write it. So we need to know what it is that we wish to achieve in 2015. You need to know it now. You can't think about it later. You need to make a decision right now. And you need to, number two, you have to write it down. And I'll guide you through what you need to write down. I'll guide you through what you need to know, and as we go along, but you need to really write it down. Number three, you have to practice it before you execute it. So you will engage yourself in a lot of practicing, just like athletes practice before a game. You have to do that. So we'll talk about what is causing performance on high levels and how you will be able to perform on high levels in your own production, in your own business. So you have to focus right now and understand that each step here is extremely important. Number four is executing it. And number five is you can reap it. And reaping it meaning that you're going to reap what you sow. So whatever it is that you're going to write down, whatever it is that you choose right now in this moment in time to set for yourself in your future, the future could bring you what it is that you're doing now. So the action you're taking now could be connected to your future results. Very important that you follow through and you really have your plan. So I wrote down what's better. And what I want to talk about when you see what's better, what do I mean what's better? So the question is, you need to focus on, is it better to have no target and start your year with confusion and having no target? Now, confusion is not necessarily something you feel in this very moment, but if you have no target, then it's very difficult for you to guide your life into a specific location. If you have 5 different targets, okay, and you're not focused on what it is specifically that you wish to achieve, and you have many different options, what it will cause is confusion, okay? Having many options causes confusion. And confusion is not good in your business. Confusion makes you take no action. So if you already know, and from training you guys, from training agents, and I can tell you my experience is that I see the majority of agents fail. And the majority of agents, when I say they fail, what does that mean? They fail to get themselves to a position that they know specifically what they're going after, so that then they can do that and achieve a goal. They fail to aim on one specific target. They're scattered all over the map, and they try to find specific results, and they can't. Why they can't? Because there is confusion from the lack of specific targets. So what is really better? What's better, to have many options and confusion, or to have a focused target, knowing exactly what it is that you want? So if you have a target that is specific and you can focus on it, you'll be able to achieve it. It's very, it's a science, okay? So you can't really break this material down and say, well, this makes no sense. Okay, everything I said so far makes sense. You should be able to understand that when you have one goal in mind that you're going to go after, and you are putting all your efforts, your mind, your body, your money, okay, everything in your life, you put it to aim on that goal and to go on one path that is straightforward, and you can see the goal in front of you, and you don't lose sight of that specific goal. So you keep going straight all the time. That is the meaning of being focused. Okay, having a target will help you focus yourself. Now, Jim Rohn was an incredible mentor, trainer, coach, and a teacher. He had many programs. He passed away 2 years ago. But one thing that I loved when I listened to his recordings and when I saw his training videos, one thing I really pay attention to was that he said the same wind blows on us all. The same wind blows on us all. It is the set of the sail and not the direction of the wind that determines which way we will go. If you can understand that it's going to be windy, the market goes up and down, sellers are mad, buyers are frustrated, mortgage rates go up and down, there's a million different things that happen out there in the market. That's the wind. But if you know how to set your sail, which is your skills, you will then be able, no matter what the weather out there is doing, you will be able to go to your target goal. Now, if the stronger the wind gets, the faster you get to your goal. So it doesn't matter what happens out there. If you set your skills, if you practice and perfect the skills necessary in this business, you practice the skills, you rehearse yourself, and you keep practicing all the time, just like athletes, professional athletes and professional actors and actresses, and anyone who is extreme professional, high-level performer. If you wish to be a performer in real estate, you need to practice non-stop, and the practice is what's going to set your sail. So if the same wind blows on us all, we're all working in the same market. If you're in Bergen County, in Hudson County, Essex County, all the agents work on the same market. But you have some agents, about 5%, that really conquer their market. They do things that nobody else is doing, and they manage to do that because they know how to set their sail. And they have tremendous skills in this industry. So before you say, I need leads, before you even think about leads, you need to first conquer your skills. You need to understand what the skills are, what you need to really focus on, what you need to practice, what you need to spend your time on before you start looking for leads and before you start analyzing if the leads are good, they're motivated, unmotivated. Before all of that, you really need to know what it is that you're doing. If you practice enough, it will help you, number one, be better at your results, obviously. But in addition to that, you're going to look more professional, and therefore your business is going to grow, because those that are going to watch you will feel your skills. They will feel your level. They will feel your professionalism. So a lot of people join real estate and they wish to get results fast because they don't have too much money set aside for them to take time and study and really learn and perfect the skills. So what happens is they come into our industry, and when they're trying to do real estate. So they come into real estate, they go to school, they get their license, they start working in an office. But they need to make money fast. They have maybe 30 days, 60 days money on the side to pay some bills and to cover themselves for 2 months. That is not enough. So what I'm trying to tell you is the following. You need to take action every day. We'll talk about the steps of actions you need to take. We're going to plan the year, and you put a plan together to go and achieve that target, and you have a specific schedule and specific tasks and things you have to do on a daily basis, and you know them ahead of time. You can then practice before you even engage in doing them. You can practice and then get engaged. And while you're engaged, you continue to practice. That will change for you the way that it will change your future, and it will make sure that you set yourself to a better outcome. Okay? So what I want you to understand right now is the following. You need to understand the market conditions are the market conditions. In 2009, 2010, many agents left. More than 50% actually of the agents quit the business altogether. And what happened was that those that had their sales set, those that had the skills down, those that had perfected their skills, they actually grabbed the business that would normally go to the other 50%. If you study your local market, I studied a few markets right now in New Jersey. If you really focus and you study the markets around you, you're going to recognize very quickly that the top, if you're looking, for example, on Bergen County, you will recognize quickly that the top 50 agents, 50 from thousands, we're talking about 8,000, 9,000 registered agents in Bergen County, and only 50 of them are making real money. So how can you get yourself inside the 50? And then from 50, it goes all the way to the thousands, and you see on the production level, it's funny to see because you can see thousands of people, hundreds of people that do one deal a year, one deal. There's so many names. They only do one deal a year. And then you have at the 50th place, you have someone doing 20 deals or 25 deals, and then it goes to 27 deals, 28 deals, 30 deals, 32 deals, 35 deals, 37 deals. And that's, if you go all the way to the top one in Bergen County in the last 12 months closed 60 transactions. You can do much better than that. In Essex County, the top agent did 170 transactions. In Hudson County, they did 160 transactions. So what you learn from that is that the top-notch producers, they know specifically what they're going after. They have a specific business plan. Before they execute, they put it down, they schedule, and then all they do is they follow the schedule, and they have someone holding them accountable to make sure that they really follow the schedule, because there's really nothing else to do. The only thing that's left to do is to follow a specific schedule. Isn't that great? If you had a schedule that if you follow that schedule, you will absolutely get results. Isn't that good to know? It's great. So we're all working in the same market. The wind is blowing, and the set of the sail is working on your skills. And the skills that we need to work on, I'm going to show you right now. So grab a pen and paper and start writing things down. Okay. This is a good question. How well do you hit your targets? In real estate, you have targets. So you got 2014. 2014 is really behind us, because if you bring a contract today, it is very rare. It's almost a phenomenal case if you can close it this year. So let's assume that for 2014, you are done. Whatever deals you have in the pipeline, if you have contracts in place that's supposed to close this year, congratulations. But if you're right now bringing a new listing, or if you're right now bringing in a contract, that will close in 2015. Okay? So how well do you hit your targets? Do you have targets that you're hitting? Now, what if it looks like this for you? Okay, if you have no target, you're just standing there, you really don't understand specifically where you're going. You have a broad idea. You're like, you know more or less where you wish to be. Yeah, I want to make 100,000. I want to make 60,000. And it's like a spread all over the board. You don't have specific targets. Then confusion arrives. When confusion arrives, you take less action, because you can't really take action on something that is not specific. So what happens is you're not consistent enough with specific activities that you need to be consistent with, and therefore, because you're not consistent, you're not really getting results. So you send out a postcard once in a blue moon. You pick up the phone and you call, your farm once in a blue moon. You sometimes call expired. Sometimes you call for sale by owner. Sometimes you work with the buyers. Sometimes you follow a script. Sometimes you're not. And and your business looks like that. Your business looks like that. That's a chaos. So in this specific training, we will go over something. First of all, you need to understand what it is that you need to focus on. And you need to understand what activities should you really master in order to hit your targets. What do I need to have in my skills toolbox in order for me to go and hit the targets? So what's in your toolbox right now? What do you have? What do you have in your skills toolbox right at this very moment? What's in it? You're a real estate professional. You tell me, Ron, I'm a top producer, I'm a this, and you call me, I'm a for sale by owner. You make a phone call and you start telling me, we have buyers, we're in your area, we're selling properties, my company is doing this, blah, 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 blah. And then you show up at my door and you look like you're really not a professional. You look like a clown. You walk in, you're talking to me about stuff that there's no relevance, because your toolbox is empty. So which tools do you offer your clients? Do you have specific skills that you own, that you can tell me, Ron, I own these skills, and it doesn't matter which market I'm going to go into, it doesn't matter how much wind is blowing, the more wind, the faster I get to my target. Did you set your sail in a specific way that you know that when a seller gives you an objection, you know the answer? An objection of the sellers or the buyers is the wind. But if you know how to set your sail, you already know your skills, you already know what to say, you know how to say, you know body language, you understand what's going on. You will be able to execute better, and when you execute better, you will get better results. So which tools do you offer your clients right at this moment in time? What do you have in your toolbox? In your toolbox, what do you have in there? Is it empty? Do you have one tool, or do you have a variety of tools? So when you start in the business and when you become a pro, if you did 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 deals last year, you still need to work and refine, and you always need to buy new tools, because if you don't buy new tools and you own new tools, then your competition buys these tools and they own it. They buy it by practicing it. That's how you own tools in real estate. So I'm going to go over a list of skills that you really need to put down. You need to own these skills, like they need to be yours, and you need to be so sharp, guys and girls. You need to be so sharp on those skills that when you take action, nobody else can get better results than you. You see, if you work in the same office, in Group 26, we have this group environment, team environment. We're trying to support everybody and support each other and help each other. But the bottom line is, if you sit in your home and you're prospecting, and another agent from your company or from a different company is also sitting in their home or office, and they also prospect the same seller that you're trying to reach, they try to reach the same seller. And your prospecting skills on the phone are less than the other guy. If the other guy has more tools in his prospecting skills, he will probably get the appointment instead of you. So before you jump on the gun and start calling people, you need to understand your skills. And in order to perfect a skill, the only thing you can do to perfect a skill is what? That's the only way. You need to practice. Practice, 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 practice every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. And when you do that, you're going to have this toolbox on the left. Okay, so you need to focus. Phone prospecting, you're going to be calling for sale by owners, hopefully. For sale by owners are a great source of leads, great source of leads. I had many listings from for sale by owners that I took because it's easy. They're interested in selling. They open their house to you because they want to show you the house, hoping you have a buyer. And if you understand the language of how to maneuver inside those conversations you're going to have, you will be able to book appointments with for sale by owners. Same with expired. What I love about expired is it's an endless stream of leads, and it doesn't matter how the market is doing. As a matter of fact, I've been in the industry since 1997. I've seen some ups and downs, and I'm telling you right now that in every market, if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, there is always plenty of supply of expireds. Plenty. And because of that, is focusing on expireds will be very smart if you go after these people. Now you can say, I don't know how to find them. Well, that's not for this specific training. So phone prospecting, you need to perfect the skills to call for sale by owners expireds. You also need to call just listed, just sold. These are, for example, let's say that someone listed a new listing in your office and they put it on the board. And you know, okay, this James Smith just got a listing. And James Smith put 123 Main Street on the board. When you see 123 Main Street, if you are a smart person, you call everybody on the block, everybody, and surrounding blocks with the just listed script. Just listed script. We just listed a property, and I was wondering, who do you know that would like to move into the area? Thanks for thinking about that. Let me ask you. And you go over with your script. So if you perfect your script, practice by practicing the script, the for sale by owner script, the expired script, just listed, just sold. Investor script, you don't have one because we didn't put one on the Dropbox. Write it down. Ask someone else who works with investors how they conduct the phone calls. Buyer scripts. Buyer scripts are available on the Dropbox. And objections. How to handle phone objections. What to say when the seller tells you, you know, all the agents already called me today, you have to stop calling me, but what do you say to that? How do you handle objections over the phone? We're talking about phone prospecting. So if you perfect the skill of phone prospecting, you perfect it, you will have a lot of appointments. Okay? That is one area that you really need to focus on perfecting. Perfecting your phone prospecting skills. Number two, if you want to dominate a market, the market domination, I believe, will go in the future to those of us that will be willing to door knock. I think that door-to-door is one of the best ways to build a real estate business, because if you farm and you have a farming area, you say, I'm the best agent in Tenafly. I'm the best agent in Edgewater. I'm the best agent in Ridgewood. I'm the best agent in Jersey City. I'm the best. You really need to know that people need to see your face. You need to be dressed professionally. You need to look professionally. You need to speak professionally. And you need to look like you know what you're doing. That is the next level. Over the phone, you could read a script in front of you. But when you go to the door, you really need to know your script. You need to be sharp. You need to be prepared. You need to be rehearsed. You can't just show up at a door looking like an idiot. So if you focus right now on the market domination, you wish to have your name. You see yourself in 5 years dominating a specific market. The first thing you need to learn, you need to understand, is you have to perfect some skills. And you perfect the skills by practicing and by taking action. So the first thing you do is you practice, and then you take action. And when you take action, you continue to practice. And that is the secret. I see many of the agents in our office that came to boot camps and whatnot. They did training. They went to Mike Ferry. They went to Tom Ferry. They went to Buffini. They go to all these trainings thinking they know it good enough, and they never practice. But I promise you, the one agent in your specific office, whoever it is, the agent in your office, whoever it's going to be, that will practice more will be the future dominating agent in your market. So it's a competition. Yes. So in a group environment, in a team environment where everybody's trying to help everybody else, you also you can use that to your benefit and improve your skills. Door-to-door skills are absolutely 100%, if you don't have money to advertise. If you don't have money to advertise. Phone prospecting and door-to-door are the two skills you need to have down like no one else. Because you don't need money to make money in real estate if you have the skills down. So what do you do to perfect your skills? We'll talk about it in about 20 minutes. But I want you to understand that you have to put yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, understanding specifically where you are standing with door-to-door. So who are you going to go after? On a door-to-door, you're going after for sale by owners, expired, just listed, just sold. You need to really master those scripts, those 3 scripts, and you need to master all the objections you can get by door knocking, which is very similar objections you're going to get to phone prospecting. It's the same. Okay? So, and then farming. There is a farming language where you know, if you show up in my door every single month or every other month, you knock on my door and I open the door and I see your face. When I think about real estate, I'll have your face in mind. It's just the way it is. So you need to really look sharp and you need to have your skills down on that. The third one that you really need to understand is your listing presentation, the way you do it, and the skill level that you have. Doing your listing presentation, executing an amazing, outstanding performance like you are on a stage in Broadway, that's how it should be every time you do a listing presentation. Because when you get listings that are listed at the right price, guys and girls, it's money in your pocket. You don't need to do much after. You really don't. So this is one of those skills that you have to be able to perfect at the highest levels possible. You need to know what to say, A to Z in your presentation. And you have to follow a canned presentation. It has to be the same presentation all the time. All the time. Same presentation all the time. You can still converse with different people. You're gonna meet different personality styles, but a canned presentation is a canned presentation. If I always have the same presentation and I know that I know my presentation, then I can execute it in any situation, in front of anybody. Doesn't matter if it's a driver, expressive, Amy, doesn't matter who the personality style in front of me, I can execute it. And that's what you should be able to do as well. So on your presentation skills, there's a few questions I want to ask you. Question number one is, are you using any specific presentation? If you're not using a specific presentation, which presentation are you using? And are you moving your presentation each time you go into a house? You just wing it, whatever comes to mind, you say. And if that's the case, how does that work for you? And how much success did you achieve with that? Okay, are you using any specific presentation? I am using the Mike Ferry presentation. I tweaked it a little bit to be more my style. And I also shared with you guys the PowerPoint presentation of what my presentation looks like. You can use the same one. We put it on the Dropbox. You can all use it. You need to rate yourself, rate your comfort level presenting. What is your comfort level presenting your presentation? Where are you? How comfortable are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you on your comfort level using your presentation? Is it 1? Is it 5? Is it 8? Is it 9? Is it 10? If you think it's 9, 10, you're wrong, because it's never going to be 9, 10. You need to see that in order to improve all the time, you always need to practice. So if you don't feel so comfortable presenting, that just means, it only means, guys and girls, that you didn't practice enough. So you don't need to panic, because practicing is something you can do every day. You should do it every day. After you rate your comfort level presenting, you should rate your presentation skill on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, presentation skills include the following. It includes how you smile at the door, the way you're dressed, the way you control the situation from the beginning to the end, your level of remembering, how much of the presentation you know by heart, the way that you can read your clients' personality styles and adjust yourself to match. All these things are in your presentation skill. You need to rate it from 1 to 10. Next question is, what can get you to number 10? So if you're at number 6, what can help you go to number 10? What is it specifically inside your presentation that you don't master yet? For example, myself, I did my presentation thousands of times, my listing presentations, okay? But I didn't practice my objection handlers thousands of times. I probably did hundreds of times. So I do the presentation better than I handle the objections coming, but I don't get a lot of objections because my presentation is outstanding. So what can get you to number 10? Do you need to be dressed better? Do you need to smile more often? Do you need to be more in control of the situation? Do you need to understand more of the personality styles in front of you? Do you need to have a canned presentation and you don't? Maybe you don't follow a presentation, a specific presentation. Maybe you just wing it. So what is it that can get you to number 10? And you need to write that down. What is it that can get you to number 10? Stop right now and write it down. Put your presentation skill on a scale of 1 to 10 and write down what it is that you believe is missing to bring you to the 10. And the next question is, if you know what it is that brings you to the 10, how are you planning to get it done? What is it specifically that you need to do? Now, this training to conquer 2015 or any other year coming in the future, in your business, you have to understand that participation in these questions is a key to your success. It's a key to your success. So how are you planning to get it done? If you tell me, Ron, to perfect my presentation, I really need to understand personality styles. So my question to you is, how are you planning to get that done? How do you plan to perfect knowing personality styles. What actions should you take? What should you read? Which trainings you should attend? What books should you read? All these questions. And when are you going to do it? And the next question is, what can prevent you from doing that? So if you tell me, Ron, I got to read books and I need to listen to some tapes and I have to do some training classes, and I'll ask you, okay, let's put it on your schedule. And then you schedule it into your daily schedule. You say, okay, every day between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m., I'm going to read the explanation about different ways of behaviors. I'm going to study personality styles and understand deeply what it means to be a driver, how drivers think, how they act. The same for expressive, amiable, and analyticals. And you do that. And then I'll ask you the question, what can prevent you from doing that? What can come at 3 p.m.? What can show up at 3 p.m. between 3 and 4? What could show up that will stop you from doing what you just said you should do? And you write that down. And the next question, so let's give an example. Let's say that you say, well, if a buyer calls me and he wants to meet me at 3 p.m., then I have to meet the buyer because the buyer is more important because I need money. Okay? So my question is, how can you eliminate the obstacles that show up? If I am scheduled between 3 and 4 to practice my presentation, and a buyer calls me, and right now it's 1 p.m., and the buyer says, I want to meet you at 3 p.m. at the house. You know what I'm going to say? If I own my skills and I know my scripts, I will tell the buyer, I would love to meet you at 3 p.m., but I can't because I already have an activity booked, or I have an appointment at 3 p.m. I can meet you there at 4, or will 6:30 be better? And I will not go and meet the buyer because I understand that if I wish to conquer my market, if I want to be the dominating agent in my market, I have to understand that practicing comes before the meeting. Now, you can tell me, well, I don't think so, and I'm going to do it anyway. It's okay, you can do it anyway. So the question for you then will be, how will you compensate? If you go out at 3 p.m. with a buyer, how will you compensate for not doing what you were supposed to do between 3 and 4? Now, the majority of us are not getting bombarded with motivated buyers, qualified buyers that are ready to go right now at 3 p.m. So some other things can show up. My mom wants me to help her with the shopping bags. My wife needs me to watch the kids. I don't know what it is that suddenly shows up that you call emergency. You need to understand that the emergency, if you really wish to change your life, the emergency is that you keep doing what you said you're going to do. And you need to have integrity between you and yourself. When you say you do something, you do it. And no matter what happens, you can't, in between 3 and 4, the time that you practice, guys and girls, this is so important for you to understand. The time that you're going to spend practicing these skills is more important than taking no sense. Nobody can only meet you at 3 p.m. And if you feel this way, then you go and do this appointment, but then you have to compensate. So when you go back to your office, you have to put together this 1 hour and compensate for what you just missed. And what could show up, because this question is very important. What can prevent us from doing what it is that we know we should do? And when it shows up, what happens to us when it shows up is extremely important. If you are not a type of person that can really follow something all the way, and you know ahead of time already that you really don't follow schedule, you're not a good schedule follower, then you are probably not going to get the goals that you put on the page. It's probably not going to happen. You have to change. You can't continue. Because if you continue this behavior, you will not be able to conquer, and you're always going to be in the position of I want and I need, but I can't achieve. So I am done with that point. How can you eliminate these obstacles? Write it down. And who is going to hold you accountable? It's not enough to hold yourself accountable. It's really not. So if you cannot hold yourself accountable because you can't, then who will hold you accountable? But you can say, well, hold me accountable for what? They hold you accountable to perfect your presentation, to keep practicing between 3 and 4, or whatever time it is that you chose that you're going to practice your presentation. So you have to write down all these answers. And then the last one, what are you willing to lose if you don't do it? In order to be held accountable, you have to put something on the table. Okay? You can't play cards with professional poker players without putting your money on the table. What are you willing to lose if you don't do it? You're already losing, obviously. We all know that. But if you want to have an accountability partner, both of you need to put something on the table. It's an agreement between the two of you. It could be $50 a week that you can lose, or it could be $100 a month. It could be $5. But you have to lose something for not doing something if you want to be held accountable and build yourself an accountability structure, because you are your business. In real estate, it's not like a restaurant. Okay? Owning a restaurant is very different than being a real estate agent, because in real estate, you are your business. You are the face of your business, you're the back of your business, you're the inside out of your business. And if your skill levels are not matching your goals, then you're not going to reach your goals. It's more important to spend time on perfecting skills. It's boring, guys. It is boring like nothing else. It is for me, it's the most boring activity I can participate in, because it's repetitive and I like new. But if that's the case with you, and you don't have someone else hold you accountable, you already know you're not going to do it. So set lower goals. If you're not willing to perfect, to dominate a market, you will never dominate a market. It's not going to happen by accident. So even if you told me, Ron, I have $100,000 a year budget that I can spend on advertising, and I'm getting all these leads, I don't need to perfect, I will say you're wrong, because if you perfect your presentation skill and you're spending a bunch of money to get leads, and then you need to call them back and book appointments and actually go out there and get these appointments translated into listings, and not just listings, but sellable listings. So you can be someone who spends $100,000 a year on advertising and you get all these leads. And every time you go on a presentation that I also go on and we meet the same seller, you will be in a situation. Because if I will continue to practice and my performance on a presentation skill is like unbelievable, on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say that I'm at 8 and you're at 3, it doesn't matter how many presentations you're going to do. Every time you're going to meet someone else, if you meet a seller that is meeting someone else also that is a good producer, and on every single good listing you're going to go on a presentation, there are minimum 1 to 2, sometimes 3 other agents competing with you. You have to perfect your listing presentation skills. And that's why I'm spending all this time on this specific topic. Okay, the next one is you need to perfect your closing scripts. You need to know your objection handlers. You need to be prepared with answers ahead of time. So if you hear the objection, you already heard it so many times, it comes out automatically. Okay? If someone tells you I don't want to list my home for more than 30 days. Boom, you have an answer. If someone says, will you cut your commission? Boom, you have an answer. And you have answers that are strong. You have answers that make sense. You have answers that you believe in. So make sure that you have the right handlers for these objections. Now, I love this part of the movie, Gary Glenn Ross. I don't know if you guys watch this movie when Alec Baldwin is going nuts on these salespeople. I love it because I believe in this approach. We don't use it in Group 26 because we're trying to be a little bit different, more lenient for a very specific reason. But you can watch this video I'm going to share with you right now. First of all, it's entertaining. If you don't like cursing and stuff, don't watch it. You can mute your speakers because this guy is going to use a beautiful language in this specific video. So bear with me and let's watch this video real quick. Okay, so it takes a set of balls to sell real estate. Closing scripts. You need to understand the language of how to close. When people want to sell, you need to be able to help them sell. They need to be able to take the listing. When buyers want to buy, you need to be able to get the contract signed. So you need to understand the closing scripts These are also on the Dropbox. These are the things you have to practice on a daily basis. Okay, step number 5 is profiling. Know who is in front of you. When you do profiling on the person, first of all, it's better to always do your homework. Do your homework before you go on the presentation. Make sure you understand who it is that you're working with. Try to find out as much information as possible about the people you're going to be working with. And the only way to do that is by asking enough questions. So asking questions is an art, and you need to perfect your skills in that arena. Profiling wants to see, hear, and feel before they sign a contract. What an expressive person wants to see, hear, and feel before they sign a contract. What an analytical wants to see, feel, and hear, and what a driver. You need to understand the difference between each one of them. Okay, you need to know that drivers are dominant. They need you to be direct and assertive. You can't go in as an amiable, okay, and take the listing. So you have to understand the different personality styles. First of all, you need to know your own, which you have to take the DISC test. If you took one, you already know it. And if you didn't take it, it's in the Dropbox, you can do it. So when you understand what personality style you have, and you go in front of a seller, and the seller, for example, if you're a driver and you're meeting with an amiable, you already know what to do. You know you have to talk about feelings. You need to ask, how do you feel about that? And if you meet, for example, an analytical, then you say, instead of how you feel, you ask, how do you think about that? What are your thoughts about this specific subject? What do you think the price should be? And if it's amiable, what do you feel the price should be? And your tone of voice has to change, and your body needs to change. Your body language, your tonality, your pronunciation, all these different things. You really need to, you see how many things you need to perfect. How can you do that if you're not practicing? So you have to, in order to perfect profiling, you really need to understand what it is, and you need to understand each segment. What's an amiable like? What if the amiable is also amiable analytical? What happens then? What if it's an amiable expressive? What if it's a combination of a driver analytical? What should you do then? You have to, what if you're sitting in front of a husband and wife? The wife is amiable, the husband is a driver, and you are an expressive. How should you handle the conversation? How you should do your presentation? What you should say? How different should you say it? To understand all of these things and variations, you need to really perfect, first of all, your presentation. Now, if I'm going in a house and I don't have a canned presentation and I always follow different things and I go with my gut, how can I then pay attention to who I'm talking to when I'm focusing on what I need to say next? You need to understand, practicing profiling will bring you to the next level. Some of you are already advanced. Some of you already know the language. If I test you, you know the presentation. If I test you, you know your phone scripts. You know your door-to-door scripts. But if I test you on profiling, you're not going to be good enough, and someone else will take your listing instead of you. Okay? You have to understand it. You need to understand the DISC test. You need to understand your profile, and you need to understand other people's profiles, and then you can practice it. So when you role play, you should role play with someone. You should have 5 to 6 different role play partners. One of them will be amiable, one will be analytical, one will be driver, and one will be expressive, hopefully. And then you can do different presentations with these people. Or your role play partner, you can act like a different personality. Now, when you start acting, if I need to become an amiable, I have to act. I have to act. And if I don't do it naturally, if I'm not good enough acting, then I'm not going to look natural, and therefore I'm probably not going to make a good presentation to an amiable. I have to relax. I need to speak a little different. I need to be more sensitive. I have to speak with a lot of emotions, and I have to listen to them more. It's not like when you're with a driver. You have to learn each and every one of those profiles, and you need to learn how to adjust yourself. And the only way to do that is if you practice. You have to practice. So that's another thing you have to really perfect. And the next thing is, people behave in certain ways. And normally they behave different than you. If they behave the same as you, that's normally your friend, your family members. They behave similar to you. They speak similar, the tonality is similar, the way they pronounce words is similar. But when you go in and you do a presentation, you need to understand the rules of NLP. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. You can read a bunch of books about this, but if you're not practicing it, you'll never put it down on your skill toolbox. So you need to learn how to mimic people without making fun of them. You're not mocking them, you're mimicking them. It's different. You need to understand how to mimic body language, how to mimic accent, tonality, pronunciation. All these different things, you need to master them, and when you do, you will get a lot more listings, a lot. Like you can go, for example, if you perfected all the rest of the skills without NLP, and you're getting 30 listings out of 45 presentations, you will be able to get 42 listings out of 45 presentations. This is very important. But how can you practice NLP? Some of you might say, oh yeah, I want to learn NLP, I'm going to go do it now. Great. But you can't really go to this level before you perfected all the rest. Okay, so let me just do a quick overview of what we spoke about. Here are the skills that you need to perfect, and try to use 2015 to finish perfecting your skills. Use that year to perfect your skills. So if you need to teach someone else to do it, you can teach. Perfect these skills, you will dominate more. You'll get more deals done. You'll do it more smoothly. You'll feel better. You will be more motivated. You'll be more excited. You'll be more disciplined. So here's what you need to perfect. Your phone's prospecting and all these different lead sources. Door-to-door, listing presentation, closing scripts, profiling, and NLP. It's going to take a while. It's not going to happen in a couple of days. This will take you a few years to go over and really perfect those. Okay? And you need to remember, what's in your toolbox? If you have all these skills that I talked to you now about in your toolbox, and each and every one of those you perfected, it's like on a scale of 1 to 10, you're hitting 7, 8, 9, or 10 on all those different skills. On all these skills. You know how many listings you're going to get? A lot more than you're getting right now. You know how many leads you're going to get? A lot more leads than you have right now. You know how many buyer contracts you're going to sign up? A lot. You need to really perfect. Now listen, those of you that are really trying to build a business, I hope that that's what the reason you came into real estate, to build a business and not just to have a part-time job. But if you came in to build a business and you really wish to have 6 figures or 7 figures, maybe you want to build a team. So if you want to build a team, you want to hire some people to do things for you. How can you do that? How can you hire anybody if you don't know yourself how to perform? If you don't know how to perform, how can you teach me to perform? So before you jump to go out there and hire people to help you, buyer's agents, listing coordinators, and all these different things, before you do that, learn your skills and perfect. Practice all the time. Here is an idea that I wish to bring to the front. I believe that you should do this for 90 days, but I deliberately put 30 on this page. Skills perfection, 30 days, focus daily activity list. Here are the things you need to do every day to perfect those 7 different skill sets that I just showed you. Number 1, you have to role play your phone script every day. Role playing with a partner. Number 2, role play your presentation with a partner every day for 30 days. Role play your objections every day. Role play your closing scripts. Handwrite your scripts, all of them. Your phone script, your door-to-door script, your objections, your closing script. All of that has to be written down on a daily basis, every day. Chanting out loud in front of a mirror, all your scripts, listening to your voice recorded. So what you're going to start doing every time you have a role play session, you're going to record yourself on your smartphone. And if you don't have a smartphone, get one of those recorders. Record yourself when you role play is genius, because when you listen to yourself, you could hear how others hear you. And that is absolutely something that I highly, highly recommend all of you to do. And then record a video while you are presenting and while you're prospecting. Video yourself so you can see how you move when you're on the phone. You can see how you move when you're doing a presentation. You can ask, how can I record myself doing a presentation? First of all, you can record yourself doing a presentation in a role-playing session. And then you watch the tape. And number 9 is watching the video. And I forgot to put in here, also listen to the audio of your voice recorded and critique. Critique yourself and ask your partner to critique you. Now, I would like to have in group 26, I really wish to have a system that we put together. And we already did that. It's kind of not really taking advantage of by the majority of people. But if you really follow this training, then you should absolutely participate in it. And what we want to do is, before I get into these things, I want to talk about the new product. The G26 A-Team Club. The A-Team Club, joining this specific club is for the following reasons. You want to have accountability. You want to receive training, because I'm going to train the A-Team Club, whoever belongs to the club. I will train you guys, and I will also coach you for free. I'm not going to charge you for it. We're going to have webinars. We're going to have one-on-ones on Skype and sessions that I would pick you guys, who it is that I choose to work with. But you have to be in the A-Team. And the A-Team Club leader is going to be Michael Personet. And Michael is going to give me participation lists of who really participates. And that's what's going to qualify you guys for these specific A-Team Club training and coaching. We're also going to have a benefit is obviously commitments. You're going to write down commitments in writing and hand them to your team club. Consistency. We'll make sure that you're consistent with everything that you're doing. You're going to improve your determination and how you look in front of buyers and sellers. Taking action on a daily basis and following an A-Team schedule. Okay, these will be things you'll have to agree to participate by joining this club. And we'll talk about what kind of trainings, etc. later on. Okay, and that's a new product we're going to be working with. So after you do these activities for 30 days and you're focusing on it, what should happen next? You should continue for 90 days, and then you should have specific things you decide to work on from the 7 different segments we discussed today that you're going to focus on, and that you will be continuing to practice every single day for the rest of the year of 2015. Prospecting. We talked about forms of prospecting. You have your center of influence and your past clients. I didn't talk about that. You absolutely have to call these people with scripts. I believe that you got to use a script every time you make a phone call. So when you call your past clients and center of influence, sphere of influence, you need to understand, you also need to constantly marketing to them. You need to have a quarterly marketing plan to call, to mail, to email. So every quarter you call them once, you mail them something once, and you email them something once. In 2015, do you already have your sphere of influence and past client marketing plan together for 2015? Did you pay for it upfront, which is what we recommend you to do? Which means you're sending them 4 pieces of mail a year. That should be already paid for and taken care of. The postcards, whatever it is you're sending, should be designed already before 2015. All the email templates you're going to be sending them every quarter, that should be already before 2015, ahead of time. You need to have it down. You need to have it down, guys and girls. And the calls, you need to know the 4 times you're going to call them, what are you going to say? You need to bring value to the table every time you call. So what is it specifically you're going to talk about? If you tell me, Ron, every quarter I'm going to call, the first quarter I'm going to talk about market statistics. The second quarter I'm going to talk about the change in the market. I mean, every quarter you got to choose ahead of time before 2015 starts. You already should have this in writing, what it is that you're going to do and when, and who is going to do it with you, how you're going to delegate, and who is the person you're going to delegate to. What are you using to market yourself to for sale by owners? What are you doing? Do you have a marketing material? Do you have something you send them by mail, by email? Do you have something you bring with you when you go preview for sale by owners? You need to have something in place, and you need to plan before 2015. You need to have it done. I mean, you have only 5 weeks left because we have also holidays. You got about 4 to 5 weeks left, and this time should be focused on building momentum for your 2015. You have to do all these things before the year starts. You can't think about it anymore in 2015. You can't spend any time in 2015 creating a new flyer. You can't spend any time creating a new postcard. Everything should be already set. You should have your for sale by owner postcards. You should have your expired postcards. You should have your for sale by owner package. You should have your expired package. You should have a door knocking package. What are you giving them at the door? You should have all this material printed and ready to go. Okay, that is really how you engage. That's the next level, guys and girls. This is if you want to be part of the 5% that are making all the money in our industry, you got to do these things. That's what they're doing. Just listed, just sold. You need to brand your name. What are you going to be using as a postcard? You're going to do the postcarding. Which company are you using to do your postcard? Are you using mail or you door knocking? Who is your printer? Did you prepare templates for them? Do you have all that done? Do you have signage done? Do you have business cards done? If you change something in your business, it should be on your business card. All the social media things you're doing should be on your business card. You should have your Facebook page, LinkedIn, and all that stuff on your business card. Country clubs, networking events, religious gatherings, etc. Determine your style of marketing and use scripts when you call these people. When you converse with them, you have to follow scripts. So once we perfect all of these skills and we understand exactly where we're going, the next step that we need to do, which is really what business planning is all about, we have to write down goals. Now, let's assume that you just started in the business, because every day you should treat it like a brand new day, like you just started in the business. So what you need to do next is you need to write goals for 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. Now, here's how you're going, what you need to write down for those years. You have to write this down, otherwise you won't have this information. Okay? So write this down. 2015, you need to write goals, all of these numbers that you see here on the screen right now. In your goals basket, you need to have total number of dials versus contacts. So you can say, okay, this year I'm going to contact 1,000 people. I probably need to dial 4,000 times. So you write down 4,000 dials, 1,000 contacts. Number of total listing appointments. How many listing appointments do you need to go on this year to achieve your goal? Okay, number of total canceled appointments. How many appointments are going to be canceled? You already know appointments gets canceled all the time. So how many of them will be canceled? Number of total listings taken versus not. So when you go on a listing presentation, are you taking the listing? And how many of those did you take and how many you didn't take? These numbers need to be before 2015 starts. Number of listings expired. How many of your listings will expire? Because you're going to have some. Number of total listings sold, how many listings you really sold. Number of total buyers contracts. Number of total closings, how many closings did you have? 20 closings, 22 closings, 27 closings. Number of total volume, so what is the volume? If you put together all the prices that you closed on. So if you close, let's say your average is 500,000, you close 20 of them, that's 10 million. Write down your total volume that you need, and then write down your total GCI, which is your gross commission income before your split. So if you're an 80-20, you're not going to write down, if your gross was 100,000, you write 100,000, your net will be 80,000. And then write down your total advertising budget and expenses for the year. This has to be done before the year begins. All these numbers need to be in place before you start the year. Has to be done. All these numbers. And then you write them for 2015, 2018, and 2020. Okay? Here are the goals. I'm going to give you 1 more minute just to write this list down. So take a moment right now and write it down. Okay, let's continue. I want you to be real. Be real. Don't be fake. Write everything that comes to mind and do it now. What needs to happen to achieve these goals? You need to write down everything. What needs to happen to achieve these goals? You can say, I have to get a new suit for my listing presentations. I have to get my postcards together. I need to know specifically the language that I'm going to use. I need to have all these scripts down. I need to have 5 role play partners. I need to have a specific schedule. I need to have an accountability partner. I need to participate in all the training events. I have to do this. I need to do this. I need to do that. That is your homework. You got to be real. And if you really want to conquer 2015, I'm telling you, if you do what we talked about in this training, you will absolutely guaranteed get better results than you had last year, for sure. But tell me what needs to happen to achieve these goals and what changes do you need to make. Now, on the changes that you need to make, I want to focus on who you are. Who you are. Are you a top producer mindset person that believes in prosperity, and you believe you deserve, and you believe that you believe in yourself, what state of being are you in? Where are you in that? And what changes do you need to make in order for you to become what it is that you wish to receive? I don't think you'll be able to receive much if you're not turning yourself into, if you're not growing your toolbox. What are you offering? What are you offering? So what changes do you need to make? And for that, I took the time to put together the Live Your Life by Design. When you have 18 different sessions, you can really do the homework, participate, and work yourself through that. 2015, on your schedule, you should have absolutely to complete fully 18 sessions of Live Your Life by Design if you want to make some changes. Removing obstacles, because obstacles are going to show up. Absolutely. You're going to have obstacles on your way to your goals. So the question you need to ask yourself for your homework is, what can stand in your way of achieving these goals? What can stand in your way of achieving these goals? It could be your spouse. It could be your children. It could be family issues, health issues. It could be lack of money. It could be a million different things. You need to write it down. And then the question is, what can you do to eliminate the obstacles, the situations? How can you eliminate these situations from showing up? The drama, the negative, how can you eliminate it so that you can have a positive year and you can go forward going after specific goals that you're going to achieve? You already know what it is that you want, because if you wrote it down here, what it is that you wish to achieve, and you know specifically these numbers that I put here. If you need help with these numbers, by the way, I'll give you one quick example. If you want to make $100,000 in 2015 and your average commission in your market is $10,000, you need to close 10 deals. So to close 10 deals, you probably need to take minimum 8 listings. Okay, 7, 8 listings you have to take this year. And you probably, in addition to that, because some of them will expire, so if you took 8 listings and 2 of them expired and 1 of them fell through, you only have 5 closings, you still need another 5. So you need also buyer's contracts. So you're going to write down buyer's contracts also fall through. So you probably need about 8 listings and about 8 contracts from buyers in addition to make your 10 closings guaranteed. And then you can write these numbers down. If your goal is $100,000 a year and $10,000 average, that means you need 10 deals this year. Then you can start breaking down these numbers. Yes, maybe the numbers are not going to be exact, but as we go along and you check yourself in the A-Team club, we're going to check you guys every quarter and take a look at what you did in the last quarter and how to adjust what needs to be adjusted into the next quarter. You will absolutely be able to find yourself in a situation that you're achieving these goals. So participate, do the homework. And this is your homework right now. Between now and the end of the year, there's a bunch of stuff you need to prepare. You have to prepare all this marketing stuff I told you about here, sphere of influence, pet clients, for sale by owners, expires, just listed, just sold. All these things need to be before 2015 starts. You need to have all the marketing material down, what you write, how you write, everything, newsletters, postcards, just listed postcards, just sold, anything you're going to use need to be ready before the year begins. Then you have all these goals down and you write them down specifically, all days for each year. For each of those years, 2015, 2018, and 2020. Okay? That's your homework. Between now and the end of the year, everything has to be done and finished. And then you need to write these answers. What needs to happen to achieve these goals? What changes do you need to make? What can stand in your way to achieve the goals? And what can you do to eliminate the obstacles? Next thing you gotta do is you have to write down your ideal schedule that once followed, the goals appear. What schedule If I want my schedule to reflect the goals, the schedule to reflect my goals, what should be on my schedule? What activities should be on? What hours am I going to do each activity? How am I going to hold myself accountable to have these activities happen when I feel down and I don't want to do it? Who will hold me accountable? All these answers you need to have. What can stop you from following this schedule after you put it down? And then how can you eliminate these obstacles? These are the questions you need to ask in order to have an outstanding performance in your real estate career. Guys and girls, you own your business. This is not a job. Don't look to the right. Don't look to the left. Nobody else is going to do this for you. You need to be the one that does all these activities that I went over in this specific training. You need to be the one. And you have to do this before the year begins. Guys, you're already behind schedule. Just to tell you, I wanted to do this training 2-3 weeks ago. But right now you have it. So Parkinson's law says that we all leave things for the last moment. This is the last moment, guys and girls. You can't push it further. You can't say, I'm going to do this next month. You have to start right now. Otherwise, you will not have everything ready to start your 2015 like a machine. Make a commitment. Write a commitment statement. The commitment statement should say what you're committing to do, what schedule you're that you're going to follow, what things you commit to be consistent with, what goals are you committed to achieve, and who are you committed to hold accountable. These are the things you need to be on your commitment statement. I want you to give this statement to your broker. So your broker will hold you accountable to give you the homework for all these different things that we did in this training. Your broker will hold you accountable to get this commitment statement from you, and he will keep it in the file. Everybody in Group 26 will have to make a commitment statement, and the commitment statement will be held in the file, and we'll refer to it when necessary. So write this down. What you're committing to do in 2015, what schedule you're committing to follow, what things you commit to be consistent with, prospecting, role-playing, practicing your scripts and your objections and all that stuff, door knocking, whatever it is you choose to do, that you commit, write it, and then write your goals you're committing to achieve, which you should already have done here. Okay, all of these goals should be done. And who are you committed to hold accountable? You need to have at least minimum one person that you're going to hold accountable to do what they said they're going to do. Minimum one person. All right, now we're going to do this A-Team Club, okay? If you wish to participate and be part of the accountability and really have an outstanding year, you can't jump in and out of the club. If you decide to be part of the club, you're part of the club. You have to participate. You need to be held accountable. You need to participate in all the training. You need to make a commitment statement. You need to have to be consistent with everything that we do in the club. And you need to have determination. You got to take action every day. And you need to participate with the A-Team schedule. Now, we're not going to allow people to jump in and out whenever they feel like it. So if you go in an A-Team club and you leave, you can't go back to the club. Okay, that's just how it's going to be. Because this is really only for those of us that are really serious about what we want to do with this business. Okay, and that's the new product. Get in action. Thank you guys for participating in this advanced class. Now it's your turn to get in action. I wish you all good luck, and make sure that the homework is done and given to your broker. Good luck.